WLOX presents the Friday Night Football Showdown Halftime Update.
Proudly sponsored by B&L Orthopedic Specialists and Pawpaw's Campers and Cars.
And ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the year once again here on the Gulf Coast. Week 1 of high school football. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Dylan Jones, and I tonight will be your guide through the high school football landscape, if you will. What you can do if you would at any point during this decide, oh, I don't really want to listen to this Dylan guy blabbering, whatever. Okay, yeah, won't take offense. You'll head on over to WLOX.com. You can find there a whole entire list of our high school football scores from across the coast. If you will, head over to WLOX.com, find the hamburger menu, scroll on down to sports, and you'll be able to click the scoreboard there, and there you will be able to find all of the latest scores. We'll be keeping this updated throughout the night, but if you'd rather stick around and listen to the stats with me, then I will oblige. Now, kicking things off, we start in Hurley, where the East Central Hornets look to fend off Deuce Knight and the George County Rebels. Last season's 3-7 finish was statistically the Hornets' worst since 2013, when they earned just one win. Tonight, they look to avoid a repeat of their 2023 season opener that saw them fall to the Rebels, but it will be tough. The Rebels are led by one of the most highly touted prospects in the state. With Notre Dame commit Deuce Knight, they hope to pick up where they left off last season with a 3-game win streak on the road. George County leads this series 19 wins as compared to East Central's 5. And at halftime, this one's staying a whole lot closer than I'm sure many people expected. George County leading 14-0. As you'll see, a lot of these games in halftime very soon, I imagine. Many of these will be coming out of the half by the time we finish. As a matter of fact, we might even have one game completing while we're in the middle of this, so that's something to keep an eye on as well. Now, on to past Christiana in Long Beach. The Bearcats busted a 29-game losing streak last season and look to make more strides this season. They host the Pass Christian Pirates, who have won their last 4 meetings against the Bearcats and also posted a 4-1 record on the road last season. And to start this one, an interception by Long Beach's Andre Wyndham would allow Junior Brown to truck into the end zone from 1 yard out, giving them an early lead. Quarterback Will Brady just tacking on to that with just under 2 minutes left in the quarter to make it 14-0. And for the Pirates, Jaquez Alexander Dito giving his team their first score of the night. Long Beach leads this series 40 wins, 23 losses, and a tie. And at halftime, 14-7. That one staying close most of the way there. Something to keep an eye on there in the second half. Now, out west, the Hancock Hawks are fresh off one of their best seasons in recent memory, finishing 8-4 in 2023. They host the Natchez Bulldogs tonight. Both teams coming off first-round exits last season, and this one has been a barn burner. Points for both teams. Natchez taking a 30-27 lead just before halftime. If you want to see offense, that's likely going to be the one that you're going to want to tune into. I know for a fact. Radio, you'll be able to find that on the website. WJZW, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're watching this and you're in the comments, just type it down below. If you want to tune into that game. Now, moving on over in Jackson County, not quite as close, going to be honest with you. It's the Battle of the Cats as the Moss Point Tigers visit the Pascagoula Panthers. The most recent meeting between the two teams ended with a shutout 31-0 victory for the Panthers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that a little bit ironic? Well, give it a second. Okay, we're just in the first half here. Pascagoula, a big 34-0 lead at halftime. Their first points in the game coming off of a safety, believe it or not, and one of the most incredible catches that I have probably ever seen. That one I know for sure is streaming on Facebook if you want to go and check that one out. Now, moving on, in 2023, a 10-2 Picayune Maroon Tide team watched their bid for state vanish thanks to a 13-42 loss at the hands of West Jones. Their path to redemption starts tonight as the Tide hosts the Brandon Bulldogs, who also fell in South State. Now, this one, starting out fast, Brandon marching right down the field. No-huddle offense scores on a 29-yard passing touchdown, taking a 7-0 lead. They rattle off another one from 61 yards out. Tide respond with a 48-yard rushing touchdown by Jordan Hawthorne. He do it again on the Tide's next possession, tying it at 14. And ever since then, Brandon starting to run away with it a bit at halftime. They lead it 36-21. Picayune able to post one more touchdown before the half. So, moving on now, West Harrison heading into Greene County. They finished last season 500, the second time they've won 5 games in a season since the program's start. They head to Leakesville to face the Greene County Wildcats in an encore of last year's meeting where just 1 point decided the winner. And I don't know if it's West Harrison or if it's Greene County, but this one is going nothing like last year's meeting did. Greene County with a 35-0, currently shutting out the Hurricanes. We'll see if the trend continues there in the second half. Now, over in Pearl River County, unfortunately for the PRC Blue Devils, the team hasn't won a game since October 7th, 2022, making 13 straight losses. Tonight, they face the South Pike Eagles, who have beaten PRC in all 3 meetings between the two teams, including last year's 34-0 shutout. Now, PRC keeping it very close here, 14-7 at halftime. South Pike is leading that one. They do absolutely have a chance, so that's a close one there over in South Pike. So now I'm going to scroll down a little bit for you here and move on to our teams from our 4A teams in the region. We will take you to Bay St. Louis, where the Tigers host the Resurrection Catholic Eagles. In last year's edition of this matchup, Resurrection managed to pull off a 29-26 upset over Bay to open their season. Can they do it once again? Now, Bay, 7-0 lead here. I imagine if this game is not already in overtime, or I apologize, halftime, is getting very, very close. So Bay, they end up getting the first score in this one, heading into the second quarter with a 7-0 lead. What I imagine would be a scoreless second quarter. So Bay looking to hold on to the lead here as they come out of that halftime. Now, checking in with Poplarville, the Hornets have earned 10-plus wins in every season but 2 since 2014. Tonight, their rematch with Jefferson Davis County. Last year, JDC handed the Hornets a 14-32 loss to open their season before posting a 10-3 record themselves. Tonight's storyline in Basefield: can Poplarville win its first season opener since 2017? And it's a close one thus far. JDC leading it 16-14. Poplarville, if you will recall, coming off of a South State bid just last year. They lost to Columbia, who is also playing a team from the coast tonight. JDC 34-14 at home since 2017. They themselves had a third-round exit just last year. Now, we take a look at the St. Stanislaus Rockachas as they make the trip to the Forest County Agricultural High School to face the Aggies. And the Rocks lead the series against the Aggies 8-4, also winning the most recent matchup just last year, 31-6. The Rocks do lead the series 8-4, and as we just mentioned, they do have that win over Forest County just last year. However, at halftime, they are trailing 14-3. Heading back south now, the St. Patrick Fighting Irish and new head coach Nate Intrapera. Say that twice as fast. Hosts the Sacred Heart Crusaders. The Irish earned just 2 wins last season after rejoining district play. Will they fare better this year? The series is tied at 3. Sacred Heart won 28-13 just last year. They do have the lead right now in the second quarter. Again, if this game is not already in halftime, I imagine it is very, very close. Leading it 14-0 there at St. Patrick. Now, we head to 7A, and this is where things get a little bit tricky. We got a doubleheader out in Gulfport at the Port City Bowl, so we'll update you on those. Heading to 7A, we look at the Iberville Warriors, who have been red hot in season openers, winning 6 straight. They hit the road to face the Columbia Wildcats, who we just mentioned are actually the defending 4A South State champions. The Iberville took the lead with 2 minutes left in the first thanks to a field goal. Since then, kind of gone back and forth a bit, just leading into halftime. The Iberville still with the 16-8 lead. Looks like both teams trading 2-point conversions there. Seems like that one might have a very interesting finish. Something to keep an eye on there in Columbia. Now, over in Jackson County, the St. Martin Yellow Jackets currently have the longest active losing streak on the coast at 17. They look to break it against the Vancleave Bulldogs, who saw their own troubles last season, but have enjoyed 2 straight wins over St. Martin. However, the way that this game is kind of trending right now, coming out of halftime into the third quarter, St. Martin leading it 21-7. Started the third quarter with a scoop and score, as a matter of fact. So the defense getting active there for the Yellow Jackets and could be looking to end that losing streak. So now here we go with the Port City Bowl. Gaucher Harrison Central, this game started much earlier than the other ones. As you can see, this game is in the fourth quarter. It is very late. As a matter of fact, let me make sure we don't have an update on that one just yet. Okay, all right, so nothing just yet, but the Harrison Central Red Rebels facing off against the Gaucher Gators. This is the first ever meeting between the two teams. The Red Rebels were competent playing away from home last year, going 3-2. Meanwhile, a win for Gaucher would keep it from being 3 straight losses in season openers. Now, in the first quarter, it was the Gaucher defense getting on the board thanks to a strip 6. Gabe Millender with a forced fumble and Denzel Larkin with the score. The next score wouldn't come until the second quarter following a Fred Nicholson interception for Gaucher. Kicker Eric Robinson nailing a 36-yarder to make the score 10-0. Harrison Central scored on a long pass at the half and again in the third, taking a 13-10 lead. Now here in the second half, things have gotten a bit crazy, a lot of turnovers. As a matter of fact, Fred Nicholson, we just mentioned him, he has 2 on the night. Harrison Central having the last score, making it 20-17 here late. That is certainly panning out to be an interesting finish if it hasn't been finished already. So definitely keep an eye on the WLOX website there. I imagine that'll be updated sooner rather than later. So now we head over to Ocean Springs for the contest that I personally called my game of the week. The Greyhounds take on the Madison Central Jaguars. In the regular season, Ocean Springs has won 15 straight home games and lost just 2 contests during 2023. One of those losses was a 1-point defeat at the hands of the Jaguars. Greyhounds get up on the board first in this one. Connor White connecting with Jax Coleman for a 31-yard pass touchdown to set up Will Smith. A block PAT would give Ocean Springs a 6-0 lead. BJ Osmer punches it in on a 4th and goal to extend that lead to 13. Now, Glenn Singleton would be the one that would get the Jags on the board for the first time all game with 46 seconds left before the half. Now, coming out of the half, Ocean Springs, they do lead it still 13-7. Madison Central, they do have 5 straight season opener wins, so that is certainly a streak that I imagine they would not want to lose. That one's staying close all the way, it appears. So now we will head over to Biloxi, where the Indians are coming off a first-round exit in 2023, and now with new head coach Jamie DuBose, the team sets out with hopes of a deeper run this season. They host the Stone Tomcats, who have lost 5 straight road games coming into tonight's contest. Biloxi leads the series 13-1, and they are 7-2 at home since 2022. Stone's only win versus Biloxi came in 2017, and this one, defense taking over, it seems. Biloxi getting just 1 touchdown with a 2-point conversion coming out of halftime. So now, this next game, as you can see, has not started yet. This game will be starting following the Harrison Central and Gaucher game, as they will both be played at Milner Stadium in Gulfport, one half of the Port City Bowl. But the Gulfport Admirals, they will host the Greenville Christian Saints. Gulfport has won 3 straight season openers and look to make it 4 here tonight. Meanwhile, the Saints have already played 2 games coming into tonight's contest, going 1-1. This is the first meeting between the 2 teams, and believe it or not, Greenville Christian already has 2 games under their belt. They are 3A MAIS. They are currently 1-1. Gulfport 6-5 last year. They did see a first-round exit, and that game will be starting here soon. Now, once again, just before we cut it off, I want to make sure if you're just tuning in that you know how to see these scores for yourself. We'll continue to update them throughout the night. If you head to WLOX.com, you'll be able to go to the hamburger menu and find sports, hit scoreboard, and scroll down, and you can see all of the latest updates. You can also do the same thing on our mobile app on our phone. If you don't have our app, make sure to go and download that. We'll be streaming every Friday night from our WLOX app, and we'll also be on YouTube. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Make sure to tune in to WLOX, ABC, and CBS later tonight for our Friday Night Football Showdown wrap up. So once again, thank you so much for joining me. I cannot wait to this football season, spending it with all of you guys. So thank you once again. Dylan Jones signing off. Good night.
Now, WLOX presents the Friday Night Football Showdown halftime update.
Proudly sponsored by B&L Orthopedic Specialists and Papa's Campers and Cars.